Windfall is the latest Netflix one-location thriller. It stars Jesse Plemons, Jason Segel, and Lily Collins, and is directed by Charlie McDowell. So, new Netflix one-location thriller. I was kind of excited for this thing. I struggle with the Netflix or the Hulu or the Amazon Prime. The streaming service one-location thrillers have just been flooding streaming cinema. It's been so overexposed over the past 2 years since quarantine happened. Like I bet you anybody could write a script that is a one location thriller and it'll be made. That's kind of what these past couple of years have been feeling like with first streaming movies. But this one seemed different at first. It seemed kind of, I don't know. I like Jesse Plemons. Charlie McDowell made a pretty cool movie. I don't remember what it was called, but it was decent. The trailers looked pretty good. I was mildly interested. It was a shorter one. It's only an hour and a half, which is good. Excuse me. Then again, I don't know. I just could not get myself too amped up for this movie. Too kind of like, oh, this is gonna be really good, or recommend it to people. Oh, check this movie out. I'm really excited to see it. You should definitely stream it when it comes out. I don't know. I went into it with very mild expectations just because so many one-location thrillers have been coming out, and their ceiling is not that high, and their floor is very, very low. Even earlier this year, like No Exit and Kimmy, basically are one-location thrillers, and I did not like either of those. The best one that is on the top of my mind right now is Till Death, that came out last year, and even then that movie was not that great. So I don't know, this little sub genre that has just been popping up everywhere recently really isn't for me. I've mentioned that so many times before, but I wanted to go into this movie with a clear head. I wanted to go in this movie giving it kind of the benefit of the doubt, even if my expectations were very, very not high. You know what? I was pleasantly surprised. Windfall is pretty okay. I didn't love it. I don't think it's a masterpiece by any means. It's not going to be anywhere near my year-end list or anything like that. It's not phenomenal. I'm not going to say it is, but I liked it. I can genuinely say that I enjoyed Windfall for what it was. A lot of people aren't really liking this one, and I completely see that. The flaws that people are kind of picking off of this movie, I completely understand them. But honestly, I did enjoy this film more than I think not that I should have, but more than more than I thought I would. So I enjoy the classical kind of thriller cinematography, not classical, classic thriller cinematography here, and direction from Charlie McDowell. I think that if Charlie McDowell is given a better script, I think he would make a phenomenal movie, because really his love for kind of Hitchcock and really older, not necessarily noir thrillers, but older classic mystery thrillers is something to behold, and he captures that feeling very well without ripping it off. It's still very much his own distinct style, and I see his vision with this movie, and I think he executed that vision really well. It was adequately well written and structured. I will point out my flaws with the script and when I get into my negatives, but I don't know. There were story beats, especially towards the beginning of the movie, that I really liked. There was a lot of dialogue that I also really enjoyed. A lot of the character work from all of the A-list cast that's in this movie, I really did like. It's not phenomenal. I'm not going to call it anything, wow, that was really brilliant how they kept them in the one location, or this, because it wasn't, but I think that's why it worked. This movie was not trying to be anything more than what it is, and it wasn't trying to appeal to a mass audience like a lot of these other movies are. A lot of these other movies kind of want to have this big savior moment, or just be like, oh, overcoming the obstacles moment. And I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, it's appealing to a mass audience. It feels very samey, and it feels very much like very predictable. The story beats in these kinds of movies are so painfully predictable that it really gets tiresome after a while. But I don't know, this movie kind of threw me for some loops and kind of did its own thing, and I think that's commendable. Again, the script is not great, but there are elements to it that I really enjoyed. The strong performances from all the cast, I think, is what propelled this movie from kind of thinking it was just okay, but not liking it, to actually liking it, because the whole cast really does kill it here. Surprisingly, my favorite performance was Jason Segel's. I thought he tapped into something he never really has tapped into before, at least from me. I haven't seen him act like this before. I've seen him in more serious roles, but never this much of a detached character and this kind of nihilistic character that he is in this movie, even though he really isn't the villain of the story, which gets unraveled throughout the film, which is, I guess, a mild spoiler, but not really. He's not a great person, but he really isn't the true antagonist of this story, and you really get to see how much of a broken person he is, and I think that was really well portrayed from Jason Segel. Jesse Plemons plays a really good asshole in this movie. He can be really good at that. I thought he was pretty good in Jungle Cruise. I reviewed that earlier last year, and he was really good in this movie. He's a good actor. With a lot of his performances, there's certain things that you can point out, like, wow, that was really fantastic, or wow, he really did something kind of nuanced here. He just gives a really good performance. There's nothing really more to comment on. And same thing with Lily Collins. I think she is a very underrated actress. She was phenomenal in To the Bone. And Cam pointed that out, actually. I totally forgot about that movie. Me and Cam were watching this movie together, and she pointed that out. And yeah, Lily Collins is phenomenal in this movie too, but more so Jason Segel is the person I really want to highlight. I thought he gave a really great performance here, just really nailing down the character that he was portraying. And now, getting into more of the negatives, there wasn't enough twists and turns, and the writing was extremely limited to when it came to the single location. Again, with the stupid single location movies, it makes everything so limited in not a really great way. There are ways to do this kind of thing right. There's plenty of examples of phenomenal one-location thrillers. And this new crop of them kind of doesn't understand that you have to have excellent writing in order for it to work. You cannot half-ass these kind of movies, or they will suck. They will. They probably will make money, and they're very easy to make, but most of them will, at best, be kind of mediocre. And as much as I don't want to say that about Windfall, it does kind of fall into that trap. It falls into the trap of overly relying on the one location thing, the crampedness, the claustrophobia of the story. And it relies on a lot of cliches of the genre as a crutch, but not cliches than you would think. I was talking earlier about how it does its own thing. It does its own thing by borrowing a lot from classic thriller tropes, which is refreshing to see in some scenes, and some scenes it's really redundant and just kind of not necessary. I'm not saying this movie was too long or anything like that, or you could trim out anything. There was just so many elements of the story that I feel like should have been reworked and kind of, I don't know, just done something more interesting. This movie can play it safe a decent amount of the time. Most of the tension kind of fizzled out by the end as well, especially the last 20-ish minutes. After something major happens, there's just kind of this lull, and there's multiple lulls in this movie. L-U-L-L-S, not L-O-L. There's multiple parts that kind of drag on a little bit, and you're just like, okay, come on, let's go. Please, something interesting happen. And it doesn't build tension. It just kind of wastes your time a little bit. And I thought the ending was fine. I didn't think it was this big shock like it thought it was, but I also didn't think it was dumb like a lot of other people did. I can see why they made that decision to go with this ending, but also I didn't think it was that shocking or anything. I just thought it was okay. And the music was kind of distractingly bad. It was trying to be menacing and creepy, but honestly, I just found it to sound like Grinch music, which, if that makes any sense, it sounds like Home Alone music for some reason, and it was just distractingly kind of funny at points. It was just, what the fuck, what is this? But that's beyond me. Not beyond me, but that's kind of a nitpick thing. Windfall was okay. I liked parts of it a lot. And then there were a lot of parts of it that just felt way too safe, way too by the books, way too average for it to really be something special. So I'm going to give Windfall a light B-. I did like this movie. It's still a positive review, but it's definitely a flawed film at that. So thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what you thought of this movie. Have you seen it? Do you want to see it? Just anything you want to say, say it down there. And don't forget to subscribe if you like these videos. I'll see you later.